Okay, we are in lesson 2, module 2, and we will get started on comparing two different expression mats. So last time we talked about an expression mat, but this time we're going to be comparing two different ones to see which one is greater. So I'm going to get into the CPM book, and let's see here. We're going to look at these first. So you are going to be posed with the question of which one is greater, and you will have something that looks like these. I'm actually going to go up just a little bit and look at this example first because there's an e-tool associated with it. So it's a little bit nicer to navigate to begin with. So looking at these two, it says which one is greater? Is this expression greater or is this one? Now there's a lot going on in here, so I'll show you kind of what I do. I'm going to open the e-tool. I'm going to also bring it off to the side like I did before. So you guys are kind of seeing my thought process on this problem, just so that I can make sure, okay, it does look like it's the same exact one. Okay, so now what I personally would do is I know that these cancel. So I'm actually going to take them because these are negative, these are positive. I'm actually going to pull these off of the mat so you can like bring them back and say, I don't want them there. Or you can even, I think, bring them down here just so you're not looking at them any longer, however you want to do that. I also am going to bring these up here because it's easier for me to see everything in the positive. But when they cross the line, you flip. Cross the line, flip. Cross the line, flip. It's now very easy for me to see that I have x minus 3 on this side. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to move these out. And I'm going to, on this one, move them down just so you guys can see your options. Those are gone. These ones cancel out right here and right here. So those are gone. And now when I bring this up, I flip it. I bring this up, I flip it. These also cancel out. I have a 1 and a negative 1, so those go away. So what I'm left with on this one is x minus 3, and this one is x plus 1. Which one is greater? The x plus 1 is greater. You can really plug in any number to figure that out. So if you're like, ooh, I don't remember which one would be greater here, I could plug in the number 2 if I wanted to for x. And if I do 2 minus 3, I get negative 1. If I do 2 for x here, I have 2 plus 1, which is 3. Clearly, 3 is going to be bigger than negative 1. So this one will always be greater. So we would say that this one is bigger and put a big, like the alligator eats it. Okay, so that one is going to be bigger here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and exit that now so that we can see how we kind of did that. So you can have all different ones here. This shows you another example of just numerical values where they've taken these and they've basically taken them off the mat. You're left with a 1 here, right? A positive 1. Over here, you're left, those go away, with a negative 2. 1 is always bigger than negative 2, so this one would be greater. This one would be greater. So we can continue with more and more examples. I think I'm going to build out this one for you in B. Let's see if the resource page, is that something where it's already built for us? It isn't. This is done on paper instead. So I'm actually going to flip over and show you another option for your homework is to do these on paper. Let me flip over to my document camera. And I will show you this on paper. So if I prefer paper and pencil, I could go ahead and make this expression mat, okay, for each one of them. I could make an expression mat and do this. So which one's greater? And I'll put this like so that in the end I can decide which way it's going to go. But I'm doing B right now. So in case you're wondering which one I'm going to do the one with the x's involved in it. So I have my x right here. And then I have a positive 1, 2, 3. Okay, positive. And I might want to color this in too, just to show. But then I have the negative 1, 2. So those are negative. Oops, I should have done the expression down here. This is going to be a smaller expression because I have a negative 1 down here and then I have my positive ones. Okay, so here on this one, this is my negative side, this is my positive side, this is my positive side, this is my negative side down here. I have 1, and then that one's colored in, which means it's positive, and then I have a 1, 2, and then I have my positive x. Okay. And now I have my positive 4, or I'm sorry, negative 4. -4 down here. Okay, so what I would probably do is I would first circle these and I would X them out. I would circle these two and X them out. I would circle these two and X them out. I would circle these two and X them out. Down here, I can't X anything out. And now I'm probably gonna make my moves. So the next thing that I would do is I would move everything to make it positive. So I'll do the negative still down here, but it's gonna go away because I'm gonna move them. Okay, so what I have left here is I have an X, and I'm just gonna color it in, but that's my X. So those went away, those went away. I only have one positive X here. Okay, I have one positive X. So then this one though has to move up and I have to flip it, which means it's now gonna become negative. Well, these actually go away now. So those go away. I'm left with just an X on this side, just an X on this side. On this one, on this side, let's do the same thing over here. Over here, I still have my X, so I'm gonna make my negative down here. I still have my X here, right? So I have an X and an X, but here I still have my negative. I have one of the negatives, but then these 4, I'm gonna move up here. When I move those, okay, remember when I move them, they all now become positive. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them move up there. I'm gonna circle these because those will cancel each other. And what I'm left with over here is, so this one I'm gonna write actually down below, I'm left with X. This one right here, I'm left with X plus 3. Clearly, this one is bigger. The X plus 3 is going to be bigger for any value that I plug in there. So I always like to think of a value. Let me go with the number 4. This would be 4. This would be 4 plus 3, which is 7. So that's how I double check to make sure I'm doing it right. This one is the greater one. Okay. So there is that one. I'm going to do one more of these, but I'm going to show it now on the algebra tiles, or the which one's greater. What's really nice here, I'm going to clear the tiles, is that you guys actually have the option here to say, okay, instead what I want is I want a comparison mat. This is comparison mat number 2. And look it's the exact same thing that we've been working on. Comparison mat number 2. So I'm going to put that one in. I'm going to also drag this off to the side because we're going to be working on D right here. So let me put those side by side so we can see them. And now let's build it out. I have to get rid of the backgrounds. I have to put algebra tiles. And now I have my tiles. So on this one, I have an X squared. This is probably what I would do for homework personally. Instead of doing, you can see how long it took on this piece of paper. I probably instead would build them here and then take a picture of them. Obviously expanding this a little bit. I'm trying to keep it down just for, so we can see the problem as well. Okay, so it looks like I have 3 of them on here. I have an X, a positive X, but I also have a negative X here. And if I want to, I can turn it. It doesn't really make a difference. You can double click to turn them if you want them to look exactly like this, but they don't have to. And then I have a -1 down there. Okay, so now I've built this side. Now I'm going to build this side over here. So I have 1, 2, 3. I have an X on here. I have an X squared. Ooh, okay, we haven't had that. Oh, I did have an X squared here. But this X squared is negative. It's negative because it's white. I have 2 of these that are both negative, so I'm going to move them and put them negative. And then I have a positive X here as well, okay? If you want to turn it, you can turn it. You don't have to. Okay, so now I have built what's going on in here. So what I'm going to first do is simplify anything that I have up here. Well, up here I don't have any positive and negatives that cancel out, but here I do. These go away. Let me make sure I've done this right. Yes. Okay, so these actually go away, right? These 2 cancel each other out. So I'm going to move them off the mat. I'm just going to move them back in here. But again, you can move them wherever you'd like. And then I'm going to, at the same time, take this and move it up. But when I do, I flip it. Okay, time to come over here. So over here, there's nothing I can simplify here. It doesn't look like there's anything I can simplify here. So I'm going to start moving and flipping. So I'm going to move up and flip. I'm going to move up and flip. I'm going to move up and flip. And last but not least, I'm going to move up and flip. And now I have these that go away. So I'm going to take them off. Those cancel. So I'm going to take them off my mat, just drag them over here. And I'm finally at a place where I can compare these. This one is x squared plus 4, and this one is x squared plus 5. So which one's greater? The one on the right. Okay, the one on the right. Okay, so the last example that we're gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and exit that one. The last example that we're gonna do is actually on the next section, and we are going to do one of these. Now, in this one, it says that it wants you to actually build it, okay? So we're gonna build the algebra tiles and then compare. So this is pretty complicated. The first thing that I'm going to do is pull up the eTool. So I'm gonna go to eTool, I'm gonna go to Tiles, and I'm gonna get my tiles mat here. Let me drag it off again so that we can see both. You can notice I just do that by dragging the tab and then adjusting the window. But what I want is a which one's greater, right? That's what we've been working on. So I am going to go to backgrounds. I'm gonna go to the comparison mat. Here is my comparison mat that I'm gonna be working with. I want to go to algebra tiles, and now I have my algebra tiles. So I can start building this one. I'm actually gonna switch spots. I know I have a lot going on this screen, but we have this right here. So I wanna be able to see it all. On the first one, I have to build, I'm gonna build a 3x on the positive, okay? A 3x, so I'm gonna put in 3 x's to start. 1, 2, and 3, 3 x's. And now I have on the negative, I have a positive 2, so down here on the negative, I have positive 2, 1, 2, and a negative x, a negative x. So I'm gonna come here, and I'm going to move an x here and make it negative. Okay, and now, let me make sure that that's all there is. Oh no, and then there's a plus 1 too, a plus 1 on the outside. So I'm gonna put that plus 1 up here, that plus 1 up here, because it's positive, okay? There's a couple ways to do these, obviously. Like on the next one, the negative 5, I could actually make ones, drag them here and make them negative, but I'm probably not. I'm actually gonna put the negative 5 here, all of them down here, and just make them positive down there. So let me show you that. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I have negative 5. And then I have on here a plus 4x. I'm gonna put that on the plus side. So I'm gonna put 4 x's up here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, 4 x's up there. And now I have plus 4. So I'm going to choose to put plus 4 up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Since I have all of them apart, I'm going to make that one go apart. Okay, so now I can start to move stuff. This right here, everything's done. There's nothing that cancels up here. So I'm just going to move and flip, move and flip, move and flip. Okay. These two cancel out, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of them right now so that I'm done on this side. I have 4x minus 1. Over here, I need to move and flip, move and flip, move and flip, move and flip, and last one, move and flip. Okay, so these cancel, pull them off, get rid of them. These two cancel, pull them off, get rid of them. These two cancel, pull them off. Okay, and these two cancel, pull them off, and look at that, which one is greater? Well, it looks like these ones are actually equal to each other. They're actually equal to them. So this is 4x minus 1, this is 4x minus 1. So which one is greater? Neither one is greater. They are equal to each other. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing that. And if you have, again, any questions, I will be today, so today is Wednesday, I will be inside our Zoom meeting if you want to join that. The link is found on our Schoology. If you go to Schoology at the top, I have a Zoom link there, and I will be there today at 1 o'clock. I look forward to seeing you.